I can see it now as the FCC goes after Disney. Somewhere in the clubhouse. Gosh, Mick, have you seen what that fella Brennan Carr's doing over at the FCC? Oh boy, Goof. Yeah, he's a real Mouska-tool. A real Mouska piece of work, if you catch my drift. Gosh, Mick, what's that mean? Well, Goof, it means that the chairman of the FCC has decided to launch a full regulatory pylon against the company that signs the mouse's paychecks. Because the company that signs the mouse's paychecks has a network that occasionally tells the truth on television. So yeah, Disney, hot dog, hot diggity dog. This is actually happening in America. Ana Gomez, the lone Democrat left on the FCC, sent a public letter this week to Josh D'Amaro, the brand new CEO of the Walt Disney Company. And in this letter, she says what Disney's facing is not a series of coincidental regulatory actions, but she says it is a sustained, coordinated campaign of censorship and control. And I want you to think about how groundbreaking this is. You have an FCC commissioner saying that her own agency, under the Trump-appointed chairman Brennan Carr, has been weaponized to pressure a free and independent press and all media into submission. And this isn't hyperbole from Gomez. I mean, you may recall that ABC settled a garbage defamation lawsuit that Trump filed against him, $15 million. And for some of this, I'm going to have to ask our editor to bleep me. You'll get the idea. The algorithm's weird about certain words. But they settled this because George Stephanopoulos, on the record, accurately said that Trump had been found liable for in the E. Jean Carroll case. He had. That's true. The verdict was technically labeled assault, but the judge himself said in plain English that what Trump did fits the common understanding of ABC settled anyway. Gomez's line about that settlement is brutal. She wrote that settlement did not buy you peace. It only bought you time. You cannot buy this administration's favor. For the right price, you can only borrow it. And the price always goes up. That's what she said to the CEO of Disney. Then you may remember that the FCC, under Brennan Carr, opened an investigation into ABC over equal time rule violations. What triggered it? The great James Tallarico, the Democrat running for U.S. Senate in Texas. And he appeared on The View. A Democrat was on daytime TV, and the FCC, on behalf of Trump, decides that is what requires a formal probe. As if that weren't enough, Carr then demanded that Disney apply to renew the broadcast licenses on 8 of the TV stations it's owned. 2 years early, for no reason. Just, hey, you've got to come ask the government for permission to broadcast. Again, from me, right now. Oh, and by the way, while you're at it, we want to see a full account of your DEI policies, even though the FCC has no authority over a private company's HR. And twice now, we've seen Trump going on Truth Social and screaming that Disney has to fire Jimmy Kimmel for making jokes. So now Trump's federally funded mafia is going to Disney and saying, nice broadcast license you got there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. Good Lord. And now, credit where credit's due. Josh D'Amaro, the new CEO of Disney, is not Bob Iger. Bob Iger is the one that settled. Josh D'Amaro hired Paul Clement. Paul Clement was the former Bush Solicitor General, and he is reportedly preparing a full attack, a full First Amendment fight against this administration. And D'Amaro has, by all accounts, refused to fire Jimmy Kimmel under any of this BS pressure. So Disney is rightfully publicly accusing the FCC of violating the Constitution. And my only hope is that the rest of corporate America sees this and understands what's happening. Because the rest of corporate America might not have the stable of attorneys that Disney has. They might not have the most valuable IP portfolio on the planet, theme parks, ESPN, ABC, Hulu. And even Disney is still barely big enough to absorb this kind of pylon. And I swear, if this administration, if the Trump administration messes with my Dole Whip, that's another story. That's another story. But look, if ABC, if they had folded the way that CBS had folded, the rest, they're next in line. NBC, CNN, the local affiliate in your town that's been telling you the truth about your school board, all of it gone. And in this day and age, I want to remind you, this takeover, it's not going to look like jackboots or tanks in the street. It looks a lot more like a license renewal demand. It looks a lot more like a sudden investigation into a daytime talk show. And it looks a lot more like a guy at the FCC writing letters in the middle of the night telling broadcasters which guests to ban. Just saying, it's not going to look like we think it will. Do me a favor, subscribe so we can keep talking about this stuff, because the cartoon mouse and my impression of him can't carry on forever. Oh boy!